right, we are going to talk about the graphic organizer that you will fill out based on what we just read together. So first, I want you to remind me what author's viewpoint is. All right, so remember, author's viewpoint is a bias toward a subject, so it can be positive, negative, or neutral. Now, remind me what word choice is. All right, so remember that word choice is when an author purposely chooses words to convey what they're trying to get across. Remind me what connotations are. All right, connotations are the positive or negative feelings that are associated with words and word choice. So remember, they can be positive, negative, or neutral. Remind me what persuasive language is. What are we doing when we're trying to persuade someone to do something? All right, so that is when an author presents reasons or examples to influence the reader's thoughts or actions. So think reasons or examples. All right, remind me what tone is. We just talked about that in the last video. All right, tone is the attitude that's conveyed by the author in the text. Tone can vary within or across text depending on the audience. All right, first we're going to talk about author's viewpoint. Now, I wrote that I think the author's viewpoint of this text is positive, and it's a view of middle schoolers that is positive. So they are trying to show how middle schoolers work and think. I chose to use the text brain growth and how they learn best because it demonstrates the needs of the students. It demonstrates that the author is thinking about what the students need and how their brain is actually working. And I think that's important to know. Right, the next thing we're going to talk about is word choice and connotation. So I chose 3 words and phrases because 5 was a lot for this short infographic. And I chose interaction, misinterpret, and function best. And I determined that each one of these were positive connotations. Now, misinterpret is one of those examples where this is a negative word. Not understanding something is negative, but there are better or worse. There are worse ways to say that you have misinterpreted something. And I wrote that this is to convince the reader that middle schoolers are misunderstood and that the author is trying to raise awareness. All right, so it's to convince you, but it's also to help you better understand middle schoolers in general. And the next category is persuasive language. So I think the author is trying to persuade the reader to give grace to middle schoolers. And then the text or the support is all of the facts that they're giving. They're giving so many examples to influence my ability or my thoughts about how middle schoolers should be treated or given, things like that. And I think that it is an effective way that the author uses persuasive language because it makes me reflect as someone who works with middle school students on, am I doing these things? Am I keeping in mind that middle schoolers have 10 to 12 minutes to focus? Or am I keeping in mind that they need interaction and that sort of thing? All right, and the last section is tone, and I would say that the author's tone is understanding. And I think that there are a few good examples of this tone, and that's the attention span of 10 to 12 minutes and the 5 to 7 bits of information. And it connects to the author's viewpoint because they're advocating for more understanding of middle school students. They're advocating for people to better understand these often misunderstood students. So this is the graphic organizer that you will be doing in the next part of class. So you will have an infographic